Hello and welcome, as it is the 12th day of June and the year is 2019. My name is Derek. I'd like to welcome you to the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades of the like, well, that is within each his own risk and their own reward. Amongst the Bitcoin dominance, we see it really just hanging in there, not doing too much. The size of the moves in here, the volatility is very tiny. Low volatility means the other coins around Bitcoin aren't moving too much further. And when it's break even like this, they're down negative 1.7%. That means that the altcoins are barely overperforming Bitcoin. And in looking at the coin market cap, we can just take a look here. Bitcoin is up 2.6%. And if I scroll this down, and I know I didn't show number two with the page down, but I guess it is a Ripple, Ethereum, so should show it. 3.45%. And if we keep scrolling this down, we really don't see anything, nothing really down. Like Tesla's is down barely, break even. But everything is really up. Chainlink is down 1 2/3. And how much? What's up big? It's like, oh, 3%, 2%, 4%, 1% up. Oh, Aurora's down 3, and that's probably. Let me just take a look at it. It's gonna say it probably had an amazing gain, and it actually did. That's the reason why it's coins that had phenomenal gains could easily be giving some back on it. But oh, Icon's up 8.4%, and that's one of the top movers. And so to say that things are moving wild, markets are overextended on the general level, not even close. Monacoin 7% down, and it's giving back some of what it had an amazing gain from before. Oh, 20% for wax. So there's one of the top gainers there. But of course, when you start to go lower in the number 70, 80, 90, and then past the 100, you're going to get more of these types of gains like Zcoin with a 31.7% move. So anyone holding that, congratulations. You've been having a very good week so far as gains have been continuing. Like a third leg higher just on that. I'm not going to show that on any of the coins in this video, but that is the list. The market cap is in at 257 trillion billion. That's billion. When you get all those commas, the fact that we're not at the trillion mark, that to be 257 billion, it's not that large of a global number of US dollars, all things considered. All right, so enough of the Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look at BTC. And in the action right here, well, what I'm seeing so far hasn't completed it yet. It's got a lot of work to do in order to complete such a task. But one of the things I'm mentioning is, can this price hold and stay above the 18 average of lows? It was showing, or is it going to resist it and go lower? Because it came up to it, resisted, started to go lower here, didn't break support, twice hit, and then rallying up. And now this is just a couple days of going sideways, but on a mathematical level. And what we can do is we can see that this day here, the line goes below the 18 average of lows. And if your eyesight is good, you can tell that today's day is above it. And with the mathematical numbers, the 18 average of lows for today right now is in at 7,806. And the lows on top of the screen say 7,821. So a few basis points above that number. And as long as it doesn't scroll down, and if it goes down, it would marginally go lower with it. So as long as it can stay above 7,806 today, and small change, it will stay above that level. That's just a technicality. But that's the whole point of why I say this, is because even though it dips below this number that pretty much nobody sees, that's really a somewhat simple mathematical computation, then that's that just, it's in that general area, but you're seeing it hold and stay in that area. And then of course on a bullish level, you need to short term get the higher lows in, which in this sense is what we can see in at least in a few days. And then of course getting in there shows that nope, this is a normal correctionary move, and I'm looking for a break above the 18 highs, always for an attempt to leave it correction mode, and that is 8,233. Looking at this on the shorter term time frame, that level of resistance up top is most certainly noticeable, as it has been hit on several of occasions. As first it was, and it meets up with this previous level of support in here as well, and this little resistance level from before. And in it, we have like resistance, decent pullback, resistance, higher low, resistance, and over the last few periods, holding and staying above it for, well, now it's on its third. There's 2 hours and 39 minutes left, so it's an hour and 20 minutes into this session. Into the single hour, we can see how, even though it's pulling down a little bit with this red candle, 20 minutes in, it's showing a lot of strength amongst the 18 average of highs, and it's still doing so, being that it's trend line. We can can't see the line, but the higher lows still nicely in form within this market. It's got to get above, of course, this 80.69 level. If there's going to be further pullbacks, that's why I like the 18. I can see that it would represent this level of resistance in here. It would represent a higher low to where it did hit it before, and that's like one of the areas I'd be looking for if, of course, that event comes in. But that's enough amongst the Bitcoin chart. Other than we're going to look at the weekly term time frame, and I'm going to move this line down to 7,500 because this is where the volume weighted average price from the large highs happen to be. And I got to put this back on log scale. I don't know why that was turned off. But within it, you can see that, okay, I know it's a moving average that would be going down like this and just starting to flatten out, which means that the average participant is in at that price. And those whom, and one reason why it sells off is because, oh, it's down, I'm just going to wait till I get back in closer to where my average price is before I sell off. And you can read whatever else for while we get there. But the fact that it's holding and staying like this to me is very, very strong. And it's a wild card situation in that obviously it's not overextended, as I showed with Bitcoin Dominos, nothing really going up too much big, that this could very easily have a decent sized move that could fill some of this empty space up here and play in the low 10,000s area. And at the same point, a little bit of a correction with the 18 average of lows coming in at 5,896 and the highs at 68, that any moves into the 6,000 area would also be something worth noting could happen. And most likely, we would take a few periods to get there, which means maybe meets up with the 18 average of lows, but the 18 average of lows would rise up to the 6,000s or so area. And that, to me, would make one of the most sense if there's going to be that pullback. Now, we've already had a sideways, like this correctionary move, a down move. It's not enough, of course, to reach this. It's just a very small amount, sort of like comparing a meal with a small snack. This would be like a small snack kind of deal. But if I see that red candle, which I can, and it's going to stay that way, and I see green movement going up, I see pause movement, and then movement going up after that, then I will give it the benefit of the doubt for a nice, decent leg above 9, which I would have to think would be noticeably over that of 10,000. Let's move on to LITECOIN. And on its weekly price, $1,388 for 10 of them, or $138.80 for one. All right. It just keeps going up here. We can see ever since lifting from the 18 average of lows after 3 red candle weeks down. Well, we're on week number 6 of green up in a row. But you know what? Not really. It's 4 good weeks in a row. And just good. I mean, the size of these 4 is just a little bit bigger than the size of this one. And I suppose the size of these 4 is a little bit smaller than the final one here. And that's what a lot of times where these tops can come in. You can have just a big, big explosive move up towards the higher ends. And we're not seeing that right now as of yet. We're coming off of 2 sideways movements, and it's just barely breaking below this. That's why when I think, like, I would be very surprised if this is the current level where we're going to be topping near. 150 is my conservative level. And you know what? It's almost wild card again for how high we can go, based on the fact that we're retracing near previous high, and we've had this kind of move that I would normally think, okay, yeah, between 150 and like 200 or something. But technically, I mean, it could go to previous high. And if it goes there, then 679, I mean, technically could happen in a 2 to 4 period segment. It's unlikely, but it's more likely now. And what would a significant break above previous high be like? 800, 750, which would be a 5x move. The odds of a 5x move over the next 8 weeks is much higher than it's practically ever been in a long, long time. But you don't count on it, you don't expect it, but it's possible. Daily chart getting above this level of resistance, and I mean I'm not expecting it to be because it pierced below it here. That's really what it comes down to. And the 4 hour, nice little move, up move, sideways, up move, and it's going a little bit sideways now. Still has some time to get even near the 18 average. Let's take a look at this against BTC. And it's right now 1.74% of the price of Bitcoin, or 0.0174, and it's just been going up like steady since its breakout on June the 6th. It was at like 133, now 174. So up about 40 basis points. That's a pretty decent size move. On the daily term time frame has managed to get above, and the 61.8 is not resisting here. And I mentioned that before in a previous video. I was like looking at this and I was like, oh my goodness, this is getting ready to go. And I stopped the video and I'm just watching it go. I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, it's supposed to do that. And it's pretty much near this high. So again, I'm thinking Litecoin at least 150. I'm fully expecting this to most likely get up to the 186 at least area and retest that previous high. Yeah, maybe we'll settle in, find a little bit of correctionary mood on the way, move and mode on the way there. We're well extended from this 18 average of highs. I know the Bollinger Bears are like saying, oh, it's way up too much, and this indicator and that indicator and all these other indicators are saying that it's up a lot. But any indicators saying for those big, large kind of moves, again, as I mentioned with this cryptocurrency cap, to me, the entire global cap is, if anything, set for a decent sized move to the upside rather than any type of correctionary mode. I'm going to say it again. The market's going to do what it's going to do. I'm just trying to do the best I can to figure it out and always react to the situations based on the numbers game because only price pays and so on. Okay. 4 hour term time frame, obviously just fantastic. We can see now in the single hour that we've had a very good, solid correctionary mode. No attempt yet to leave it. There's really been no attempt getting above or below it in the last several hours. So until it's ready, it's almost like well, you're just waiting for the movie to start. It's in preview mode or doing just a yada yada nothing. I got Litecoin dominance that I have found, so let's bring that up next. And I'm gonna have to push the hide button on the volume. To find the dominance, make sure I got everything searched for everything available on the all. Just type in dominance and you're going to see, oh, there's Bitcoin dominance. There's others. I haven't seen that one. I probably should take a look at that. Others, that's everything else. That will be interesting. Okay. Ethereum, US dollar, Tether, Ripple, like, oh, that's like a reverse on. I want to take a look at that too. Ripple, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Cardano, Binance Coin, Tron, Lumen, BSV, and then those, well, those are the ones. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take a look at those after this. No plan on doing it coming in. All right. So anyway, this is only the 1 hour time frame. So let's take a look at the daily chart, which of course we can see just a tremendous move. 2.3%, 3.5% now, and in the weekly chart, well, that's you can ignore that low. So, and you can ignore this low as well too. But down move, up move. This didn't look like this when I looked at this before, actually. These numbers already changed. I looked at this before, like 15 minutes ago, before 20 minutes ago, before. Well, not 15 minutes ago, before, because that's when the video started. But like 25 minutes ago. Okay, well, the numbers are a little bit skewed off, so I don't know what to expect on this, but I could also look at Domino's Pizza chart, too, if I wanted to. I think it's along the Domino's Pizza chart. And I'm going to show you why in a bit, because of the obvious. But I'm going to take a look at that next, after I look at others. and others doesn't seem to be coming up. So let's take a look at Domino's. I guess it is. Okay, let's see here. So if everything else back in 2017 started to do well, that was correct. And then we have the down move, the up move, and we got a lot of data here. This is an interesting chart. I mean, how they calculated to get those pierces, and they need to be fixed. But this chart has potential. Interesting. Let's take a look at Domino's because, like I say, it's a very good long position right now. I haven't taken a look at, and there's also Dominion Energy too. But Domino's Pizza, as we can tell in the daily, it's at the 18 average of lows. I mean, that's buy lows and sell from there. I mean, buy lows here, buy low here, buy low there. Weekly. Oh my goodness, it's actually not the. I think it's not bad, but I think also. I mean, it's very difficult because this is again a wild card thing. You're going to break this support, you're going to break this resistance. If you break this support, you're going to the 18 average of lows. So if you plan on buying more there, so it's kind of interesting. I don't think I'd want to buy now. I think I'd either want to wait for uh, come down to there or wait for better setups or wait for it to break out. But I mean, it's overall overextended. If it leaves the 18 average of highs, it's showing strength amongst it, and there's a bunch of E's on the bottom. I don't know if they're well, these are dividends. I was gonna try to earnings, I guess, earnings reports. Okay, so this goes from 30 down to 2 up to 270. Not bad, but to say that it's a little overextended, yeah, at some point it just can't keep going up like this. But if the currency falls, all that stuff, and I'm spending way too much time on stocks now. And let's move on next to Binance Coin. Let's get my volume back. And what do we see in here? It's going up, but this is the weekly time frame, and there is still a lot of periods shown. Continuing to go up. Just small periods, but a little bit of a green week in here. Let's just remove this line in here. Let's go to the daily. And amongst in here, since the move from point May lows to the May highs, we've had the sideways correction support in the area between 30 to 60 down to the high 28s. And this session in here, after resisting the last few days at around 32, is now at 33 and a third. But it has managed to get above the 18 average of highs. So it's a statement that it wants to resume, not resume, revert. Or not resume, yeah, resume the trend, not revert it. Revert it, yeah, or keep it going. They didn't correct it, so it's not reversal, it's resumption, or yeah, whatever. Because it's leaving the sideways range, resuming what it already was doing before. And you see, and it's just like from before. How about every other time it did it? So here was a spot where it's like, yeah, I'm going to resume this up move, and you can see there was a good play. And here, there really doesn't count. Let's see if we can find other times where, like leaving the 18 average here. Okay, like 11, I want to resume the up move. And here, leaving it at like, well, I want to see when it goes deeper into it. So here was a spot where it resumed it here, big move. Then overall within this was a spot where you had all these levels of resistance back in here, as we had like resistance, resistance, resistance. So 1, 2, 3. Then there was this fourth, and then amongst the fourth, this was an interesting situation after hit 4, where you had this moment here occur, because that's what it was, a failed breakout, really, but not really. That most certainly didn't even have any type of fast move lower. Because it got above it, managed to break below the support and come down towards in here. But it didn't have a fast move after it. So this attempt to break out had this stutter move, but we can see just as it was looking like this at this exact moment, that, hey, wait a second here. You were showing me a failed breakout in here, getting above a 3x hit line, and well, even 4x counting this. You break it down below with this big red 12% down day. Okay, then you go sideways. Again, I'll call that a little wild card, but it's either going to break below the 18 lows or the support, and of course it broke above the lows rather. And then it got above it. Okay, so we got above the lows. Then we got to the highs. The next day you got above it. You paused it, and then you're starting to break it out. These are the type of setups that you say, okay, you look at each individual candle, you look at how the story's progressing, and when we look forward like this, you can't be surprised that all of this shit happens and the markets go up. Excuse that language, but we're all adults. Not like you haven't heard it 7,000 plus times before. But it's what it is. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you found this informative, helpful, and this is what I'd like to do is just go over like just setups, because it doesn't matter what you're trading, but by understanding just exactly what was shown in here can really give good help as far as just way I show markets helping other people ways. And to me, this is why I just like the 18 average. I'll throw these horizontal rays in when need be, calculate Fibonacci when need be, and that's the measure in which I go by. And I would use, and the VWAP, if I could put it on here, oh, I would love it just as much, as maybe not as much as the 18. But, I mean, the VWAP, I'm just going to push this button here, and it's going to scroll through really fast. Well, not too fast. But the VWAP is something where I'm like, okay, I want to see a VWAP from this low here. Because if there's going to be any large corrections, that's going to be an area of support that I'm going to be looking to find. And the one here, how about the VWAP from this high? That would be, I'm just going to guess, and I'm not going to be good at drawing it, but you're going to be talking about how the VWAP in here would have been probably something in here, and then starting to decline a little bit, and I don't know, something around here maybe. And how did it react in around that area? Well, if you have a spot where resistance, because I mentioned earlier Bitcoin in the 7,500, if it's able to settle in with it, and then when it breaks above any type of like a VWAP like that, having large gains after that is not a surprise. You're in retracement mode. You're in retracement mode from big high to big low. You got your 38% somewhere, you got your 61.8, and when you leave that 61.8 and you're approaching previous high, well, I mean, you could hit this high and go back down. You could make new highs, meaning buying in here is like, oh, this could be big gains. Well, now let's calculate what the Fibonacci upside is. I'll end the video at that. So let's first remove all drawing tools. Let's second scroll this down so I can see these numbers better. Let's just do a number in the area of, let's say that's 24. Okay, let's do the exact high. No, it would be easier this way. We'll do 25. And 25 going down to 444. What we're looking at is the correction of an uptrend and the higher low correction, which is what we got. So let's go 2,500 cents, 444 cents. Up target is 7,200 cents. So I'm looking for Binance Coin probably to make a move up to somewhere around in here at the 72 mark. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye. And by the way, probably Pierce Extra, wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to 80 to 100. Bye-bye.